In 1971, astronaut Edgar Mitchell was floating back to Earth after walking on the Moon. He looked out his tiny window at the blue marble suspended in infinite darkness. And something broke inside him. Not physically, psychologically. He later described it as an overwhelming sense of connectedness. A feeling that the molecules in his body and the molecules in that distant planet were all forged in the same ancient stars. He called it an instant global consciousness. Most people would call it feeling completely and utterly insignificant. And here's what's strange. That feeling of insignificance didn't crush him. It healed him. Mitchell spent the rest of his life studying consciousness. He founded research institutes. He reported a profound sense of peace that never left him. He's not alone. Astronaut after astronaut reports the same phenomenon. They leave Earth as pilots and engineers. They return as philosophers. Scientists now have a name for this: the overview effect. But here's what they've discovered in the last decade. You don't need to leave the planet to experience it. And the health benefits are far more dramatic than anyone expected. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your blood when you feel awe. In 2015, researchers at UC Berkeley conducted a study that sounds almost too simple to matter. They measured cytokines. These are proteins that signal inflammation in your body. Chronic inflammation is linked to everything: heart disease, diabetes, depression, Alzheimer's. It's arguably the single biggest predictor of how you'll age and when you'll die. The researchers measured cytokine levels in over 200 young adults. Then they asked one question: how often do you experience awe? The results were striking. People who regularly experienced awe had significantly lower levels of interleukin-6. That's one of the most dangerous inflammatory cytokines. Not marginally lower, substantially lower, more than any other positive emotion tested. Joy didn't do it. Contentment didn't do it. Pride actually made inflammation worse. Only awe reduced these markers. But why? What is it about feeling small that calms your immune system? The answer lies in a part of your brain that might be your worst enemy. There's a network in your brain that activates whenever you're not focused on a specific task. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network. You might call it something else. The voice in your head. The endless narrator. The part of you that rehashes old arguments at 3 in the morning. This network is responsible for self-referential thinking. Who am I? What do people think of me? Why did I say that stupid thing in 2015? It's also hyperactive in people with depression, anxiety, and addiction. Here's what brain scans reveal about awe. When people experience it, the default mode network goes quiet. The constant self-focused chatter dims the brain shifts from asking what does this mean for me to simply witnessing what is. This is similar to what happens during deep meditation. But most people can't meditate for years to achieve this state. Awe can do it in seconds. And when that self-obsessed network quiets down, something remarkable happens. The inflammation signals decrease. Your immune system stops attacking your own body. The biological machinery of chronic stress begins to unwind. But there's a catch. And it explains why modern life might be slowly killing us. Here's a question that researchers are just beginning to ask. When was the last time you experienced genuine awe? Not mild interest, not passing appreciation. True awe. The kind that makes you forget yourself entirely. If you're like most people in developed nations, you might struggle to remember. Psychologist Decker Keltner has spent decades studying awe. He's found that modern humans experience it far less than our ancestors did. We've engineered awe out of our environment. We live in climate-controlled boxes. We stare at 6-inch screens. We've seen so many images of natural wonders that the real thing barely registers. Our ancestors looked up at unpolluted night skies every single night. They witnessed thunderstorms without weathermen explaining them away. They stood at the edges of forests that seemed to go on forever. Their default mode networks got regular breaks. Ours run constantly, and the inflammation markers in modern populations show it. We're more inflamed than any generation in history. We have more autoimmune diseases, more depression, more anxiety, all conditions linked to a default mode network that never shuts up. But researchers have found something that works. And it's surprisingly accessible. Psychologists have identified two key ingredients for awe: vastness and accommodation. Vastness is simple. Something has to feel larger than yourself. A mountain, an ocean, a cathedral ceiling, a night sky. But here's what's interesting. Vastness isn't just physical. You can experience it through ideas, through time, through moral beauty. Watching someone sacrifice everything for a stranger can trigger the same response as standing before the Grand Canyon. The second ingredient is accommodation. This is when your existing mental frameworks can't quite contain what you're experiencing. Your brain has to stretch. It has to update its model of reality. This is why the 10th time you see a sunset, it doesn't move you like the first. Your brain has already accommodated it. It's predictable. But researchers have found a workaround. Attention. When subjects are asked to look at familiar natural scenes with fresh eyes, to notice small details they've never seen, to imagine they're seeing it for the first time, the awe response returns. The cytokines drop. The default mode network quiets. You don't need to travel to exotic locations. You need to actually pay attention to where you already are. Let's return to those astronauts for a moment. Because what they experience isn't just beautiful. It's philosophically destabilizing. From space, you can't see national borders. You can't see the conflicts that consume the news. You see a single fragile system floating in an incomprehensible void. Many astronauts report that they can't unsee this. That every petty concern back on Earth feels absurd afterward. That their sense of self permanently expands to include something larger. Psychologists call this self-transcendence. And it correlates with almost every measure of psychological well-being we have. Lower anxiety, lower depression, greater life satisfaction, stronger relationships, more generosity. The astronauts didn't become insignificant when they looked at Earth. They became appropriately sized. They saw themselves accurately for the first time. As temporary patterns in an ancient universe. As nodes in a web of connection they hadn't noticed before. And that accurate self-perception turned out to be therapeutic. The default mode network's constant self-aggrandizement isn't just annoying. It's medically harmful. Deflating it is healing. So what do we do with this information? The research points to something simple but increasingly difficult in modern life. We need regular doses of vastness. Not occasional vacations to national parks. Regular doses. Keltner's research suggests that even 15 minutes of what he calls an awe walk can produce measurable effects. The protocol is simple. Go somewhere with natural elements. Trees, water, sky. Walk slowly. Look up instead of down. Pay attention to things larger than yourself. Do this twice a week. In controlled studies, subjects who took awe walks showed reduced anxiety and increased feelings of connectedness. Their inflammatory markers improved. They reported feeling more generous toward others. Other researchers have found that even watching awe-inducing videos produces some of these effects, though less than direct experience. And here's something strange. People who regularly experience awe report feeling like they have more time. The constant mental rushing slows. The present moment expands. Time becomes something you inhabit instead of something chasing you. There's one more finding that deserves attention. Researchers have noticed that awe makes people more ethical. In multiple studies, subjects who were induced to feel awe became more honest, more generous with their time and money, less likely to cheat. The theory is that when the self shrinks, So does self-interest when you feel like a small part of something vast. Exploiting others feels absurd. Your tribe expands from your immediate circle to potentially everyone. This might explain why every major religion developed rituals designed to induce awe. The cathedrals weren't accidents. The chanting wasn't random. The pilgrimage to vast natural sites wasn't coincidence. These traditions stumbled onto neurological truths millennia before brain scans existed. They understood that humans need regular reminders of their proper scale. That without these reminders, the self becomes a tyrant. And that tyrant makes us sick. Physically sick. The inflammation research confirms what monks intuited. Humility isn't just moral, it's medical. We started with astronauts looking at Earth from space. But you don't need a rocket ship. You need a reminder that you are one human among 8 billion. On one planet among trillions. In a universe so vast that light itself takes billions of years to cross it. And that reminder shouldn't terrify you. It should relieve you. Because all that pressure you put on yourself, all that self-criticism, all that anxiety about your place in the social hierarchy, it rests on a fundamental miscalculation of scale. You are temporary, you are small, and that truth, fully felt, can quiet the part of your brain that won't stop talking, can calm the immune system that's attacking your own tissues, can reconnect you to the simple fact of being alive. The astronauts didn't lose something when they looked at Earth. They gained perspective, and that perspective turned out to be the most valuable thing they brought home. More than moon rocks, more than data, a feeling that everything they worried about was simultaneously real and cosmically absurd. The research is clear. We've built a world that starves us of awe, and we're paying for it with our bodies and minds. But the solution isn't complex. Look up more often. Seek out vastness. Pay attention to what's already vast around you. Let yourself feel small, because that feeling isn't a threat to your well-being. It might be the foundation of it. Edgar Mitchell looked at Earth from the moon and felt his boundaries dissolve. He spent the rest of his life trying to describe what happened in that moment. Here's my question for you. When was the last time you truly felt awe? Not the word you use when something is mildly impressive. Real awe, the kind that made you forget yourself entirely. And what would change if you sought that feeling deliberately?